This is the Real Life Show, and now here's your host, Mark Chigozi.
Welcome to the show. Mark on the show today, and have you noticed that our life expectancy is going up? But of course, also the age of retirement has been set. 45, 50, you get out. Because this country has gone to young people, 78% under the age of 30. We who are 40 and above, we need to get out of employment so that they go. But as you are in employment, have you thought about retirement? You now who is sitting in a government office, you who is sitting in some employment, have you thought of what would happen if suddenly there is a letter telling you that in 2-3 years we want you out and you need to retire? That is very traumatic. Some people have committed suicide, others have gone mad, and Butabika is full of some of them. So we are going to talk about retirement. And today I have a guest who is able to talk about this. He's going to introduce himself on the show. Please welcome my guest. What's your name, man?
My name is Moses BEKABYE. I am the Interim Chief Executive Officer for the Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority.
Okay.
Which, again, I must say is the regulator for the entire retirement benefits sector.
Yeah.
Regulating all pension schemes, regulating all provident funds, and regulating all other retirement benefit savings, okay. Which accumulate retirement benefits as a result of employment.
Okay. Now, that means that you oversee organs like NSSF.
That's correct.
NSSF is one of them. Is there any other that I don't know about?
Yeah, I think there are many. In the monetary area, I can just mention a few. You have the NSSF, you have NARO, you have what they call USEPs, those who are employees of the former Post and Telecommunication. You have residual schemes dealing with the those who were, those employees who were in prestators which were privatized, like Uganda Railways.
You know, some organizations also have some internal savings.
Yes,
schemes.
Let me come to that. And then you have like the parliamentary pension scheme, for instance. You have the public service pension scheme, which I said is undergoing reforms. And then you have numerous, what they call in-house or occupational pension schemes, which are in the range of about 500 to 800.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do those also come out openly to say we have savings schemes for our employees? And
yes, yes. The law caters for all those, and we are supposed to license them, and we've started on that. We've so far licensed about 52 of these schemes, including the NSSF. We've identified another 120. The identification phase is the most difficult, but we are undertaking it because previously the sector wasn't regulated, so there wasn't information. So we are using various tools and information within the government system to identify them. Okay.
Do you have a blanket? Age at which someone would start to receive their benefits?
Yes, currently the legal framework, for instance, let me talk about the public service. For the public service, you have to retire at the age of 60.
Public service?
Yes, public servants, before you start getting your pension. Under the NSSF, those people who are mainly in the private sector or in the prestators contributing to the private sector, their eligibility, I'm talking about the eligibility age, is 55 for their benefits. But that doesn't mean that they have to retire at that age.
Yeah.
Okay? But there are other institutions which have varying retirement ages. But Cabinet, in the reform process that we are undertaking, they set a retirement age or eligibility age for retirement benefits at 45 years.
45 years.
45 years. But I must say that that's too low because at 45, you know, people are still very energetic, very young, and they can still get jobs and still accumulate savings. So what is important is to really have adequate savings at when you are not able to work any longer.
Well, my feeling is still, I would disagree with you if you think that that is too young. You need to get those savings and invest them, and you cannot invest them when you are senile and not energetic.
I think there is a basic misconception here because some people think that the 5%, for instance, you're paying for the NSSF, some people think that that's the only saving that you should be making. This saving is purposely for providing a social safety net, a minimum social safety net, as a fallback position just in case you don't have anything else.
Yes.
Okay, during your retirement.
Okay.
So it is not meant for collection for you to go after retirement to go and start investing.
No, but who should
Wait.
Who tells you what I want? If I want all my money
Yeah.
at once to invest and start a company, why are you telling me you're just going to give me a few social handouts? Why don't you give it all to me at once and it's me to decide whether I invest it or what?
Yes, I think most of, right now as the law is, for instance, for those people who are contributing to the NSSF, they can get their lump sum 100%.
Ah.
Okay?
Those
they
contributing
still,
to NSSF?
they still can get their lump sum 100%.
100%.
For those in the government, like civil servants, they get pensions until they die, okay?
And when they die?
But studies have shown that for people who get their lump sum at the age of 60,
Okay.
by the second year of their retirement, they cannot associate with the saving they made because, you know, the money just disappears. So this arrangement, and that's why it's part of the social protection system. It protects you from old age poverty, okay? And that's why we are saying that when this money is saved, you know, these institutions, you know, the retirement benefit schemes and other institutions, similar institutions, they invest this money and collectively. And when they invest collectively, there are economies of scale, and they are able to make a big return on this saving, which you as an individual may not be able to invest in anything other than, you know, eating it up. And by the time you retire, you actually, in the second year of retirement, you have nothing. So I think the issue is to have this 5%, for instance, for those people who are contributing to the NSSF. And if you want to save, okay, for some other purpose, you can say, I'll take off my salary another 10% and save it somewhere else, okay, for maybe putting up a building and so on. But at least I have, if that doesn't work out, at least I have a minimum social safety net to fall back to.
They'll give you monthly.
Yeah, either monthly or for occupational schemes, they will decide how to get their money, okay? But for the public servants, they get it monthly till they die, and they like it. Under the NSSF, the option currently is to get a lump sum. But in the reform process that we are implementing, we are providing options for part of it as a lump sum, and then taking part of it as a pension. But in the pension, you have various options. You have a direct pension, just like the public service. You have what you call annuity. Annuity is an insurance product. When you get like your money, you purchase an insurance policy for life, you know, so that they guarantee you a certain amount of money till you die. It's like a pension, you understand it. The third option is what we call programmed withdrawal. Programmed withdrawal, you look at yourself, maybe you have 100 million and decide, I want my money paid to me regularly in 5 years, or in 10 years, or in 20 years. So, and then you reach an agreement. So they calculate your money and start giving you. But as they give you this money, the balance is being invested and it still is generating some return.
Do they give that return to you?
Everything goes back to you, okay? Doesn't belong, there is no, these schemes, by the way, have no other assets other than the assets of members. So these funds actually belong to the members, and the return on that asset also belongs to the members. Okay. The other option is what we call income drawdown. Income drawdown, you say, okay, I'll keep my money with the scheme, all right, or we'll invest it somewhere, and whatever comes as the interest on that investment or as a return on that investment is what you pay me. You understand? So that you create a cash cow. That cash cow, you know, even if you die, you have children, you have wives, and so on, you know, your next of kin can actually also benefit from this cash cow. So it becomes, you know, an ongoing asset which produces this income. And of course, with most of these assets, there's appreciation, you know. There's appreciation, and if they are good, well managed, these assets can actually grow.
Okay. You know, for a long time, we have not had any faith in these saving things, because I do not know of any individual in this country that has benefited from any saving scheme. Maybe I'm ignorant, but I need to see a face. The majority of people I do see are people that have said to themselves that these schemes promise them a lot. They have walked up and down, sign this document, bring that document, bring the other one, now bring the other one, now the LC, now what? By the time they are coming to the end, they are dead. And the money stays there. And so there's a lot of money, for example, in NSSF, of dead people who did not even finish their documentation. And maybe it's the one that is being eaten left and right, because people are dead anyway. You see? So I have no faith. Now, the other time I went there, and I met some young people, and it gave me hope. People who looked young and so on. You know, when I see the old ones, I lose faith, because those are finished. Okay. They are the old, they need to be swept out.
Are they as young as you, or as young as someone?
No, a bit older,
Okay.
my father's age. Those ones who say, you know, okay, now you need to get out.
Okay.
And you know, but when you see some younger people like you and so on who are thinking, there is hope. And so I was assured that maybe around 50, I could start to get my benefits, which I like. And so I've been checking, and these days you can check and see just by a text message to see. I checked last year my balance, and I also checked this year. My balance is exactly the same. And yet they've told us that there's going to be a return on investment. Now, can you assure that person, yet me who has had a real hands-on experience, know it for 3 years now, in fact, the balance is the same. I can even do the text message right now, and I'll show you exact balance.
That is in the NSSF, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, tell me.
I think you're right, the way you're characterizing the issues, the way you're explaining the issues. There are issues of poor governance in the entire sector. There are issues also which relate to the poor investments, okay, which is also is a function of poor governance.
Was Temangalo an investment?
And because of the past mistakes, you're also right that people lost trust and confidence. And these are the issues that we are addressing, the exact issues we are addressing in the reform process that we are undertaking. Okay. In order to restore trust and confidence, in order to make sure that when you contribute, your monies are invested well and there's a good return, a good real return, on investment. And that's why we are saying that these funds must be handled by people who are professionals, not just like a CEO like myself sitting in my chair here and so on and pretending to be investing these funds, because asset management is a very professional job. People who do asset management in other countries, say United States, so they don't sleep, or they sleep in turns, so that because they have to identify the opportunities all the time in order to maximize return. And this is what we want in this sector, okay? So we are, of course, the small improvement you're saying, like you can get your balances and so on, is also as a result of the reforms that we are undertaking.
Ah.
So these reforms must continue. And if we have this law in Parliament passed, it's going to address most of these things. And with the regulator in place, because the regulator, why is there, is really to secure these savings, to provide security. But overall, the reforms must provide security. There must be efficiency. Efficiency meaning less cost, more benefits to the members, meaning more return and adequate return to the savers. There is empirical evidence which suggests that if you contributed money, for instance, you're 20 years, by the time you're 50 or 60 years, that money has actually
tripled.
The 3.5 times has increased or has brought in a return which is 3.5 times compared to your initial investment.
Ah.
So in other words, if you put in 100 shillings, by the time you retire, you'll have an additional 350 shillings. If you add it to the original 100, you have 450. Okay? But that means that the people who are investing these must be professionals. True. There must be good governance. Good governance also in decision making in terms of investment of these funds.
Wow.
And those are the reforms that we are bringing about.
Those are the things that are happening.
Yeah.
Now, these young people here, some of them, of course, are not going to be employed in the private sector where NSSF is. Because I do know that one of the issues you're going to bring, you're going to try and get as many working class people into these saving schemes as possible so that you ensure a certain safety net socially ahead. But you know, right now the coverage is very, very poor.
Yes.
At the time I was still employed, officials did come to the organization where I was, and they required us, required all of us. And you know, the head of the organization at that time was trying to, you know, dodge, but they said this is law, and it could be punishable if you keep dodging.
Yes.
And we finally got ourselves on. Now I'm glad that I did. The only anxious thing I'm feeling is whether I'll get my savings in these kinds of situations. But I am glad I can see it in on my text message. My only concern is the money there? Will I get it? I'm asking you, reformer.
You'll get it because there's a regulator now.
Okay.
And what it means is that whatever has been agreed upon and by law or by what we call scheme rules for those in-house houses, once in-house schemes, once those have been licensed, and that's why licensing these schemes is so important, because once a scheme is licensed, then anything that relates to that scheme becomes enforceable by law.
Good.
Okay? So that's why we are struggling to identify all these schemes so that they can get licensed and they can benefit from the legal framework that is in place.
Okay.
But
now,
the issue you talked about, those people who are self-employed and they will never get employed and so on, as I mentioned earlier informally, is that this law also is trying to create a framework and incentives to attract those who are self-employed, but voluntarily through education and this kind of tax benefits and health benefits, in order for them to be able to save for retirement.
would it be prudent also for someone in the private sector to be required to save with at least one of the schemes?
Yes. The proposal, the bill we have in Parliament, is to say that everyone who is in the formal sector must be contributing to a retirement benefit scheme. The employer must contribute on behalf of the employees, and the employees must contribute from their wages and so on. Okay, so those are the people who are in the formal sector, and that's going to be mandatory. Mandatory means they must by law.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm now talking about self-employed people.
For people who are self-employed, because right now we have no mechanism of enforcing. The only leverage we have is to educate them and provide incentives, okay, so that they can understand why they should save for themselves, for their welfare in the future. And also provide tax incentives and also health benefits. What the proposal we have in terms of health benefit is to say, if you have a retirement benefit account or you're contributing to a retirement benefit scheme, you should be able to automatically qualify for a minimum health care package. Okay? And the reason why we're doing that is because the people in the informal sector, some of them may not have regular income, some of them may not have large salaries or income, but when you analyze a household, what are the big expenditure on household, apart from airtime? You're looking at shelter, okay? You're looking at food, and the third big cost is health, okay? Health treatment and so on, children falling sick, women going to maternity and so on. Those are the biggest expenditures. So we are trying to see what would be the attraction for those people who are self-employed and in the informal sector. And if we provide a minimum health care package, we think that that is an immediate benefit, because these people need an immediate benefit they can associate with, so that when they save, they know that they have an immediate benefit. The other benefit that we are going to provide is tax exemption on contributions, and also we are going to introduce a proposal which Kenya has and other countries in the East African community have, exemption on investment, so that once monies have been contributed and they are being invested, there is no hemorrhage, there is no leakages, so that the pie can grow and grow and grow. And when you want to access your money, you have a bigger pie from which you can draw the money. So those are some of the reforms that we are pursuing.
Well, sounds good. The incentives must be good enough to attract. But, however, you also need to realize that some of the people in the informal sector that are self-employed may be earning much more than just government salaried workers.
Yes.
You know, they hit deals. That's
true.
They just hit a deal, and of course you cannot even track their their earnings, so that you can advise them on how much to save. Someone will just say, for me, I want to put 100,000 every month, or as the deal hits, because one month you may have nothing, another month you get a very big cut, and so on. Now, what makes one eligible? What are some of the things that make you eligible to be part of this saving scheme?
Really, the eligibility for the people who are going to be in a formal sector is you have to be really employed. And it's not like the people who are categorized as permanent employees. It is going to be either even if you are employed temporarily for 1 month or for 1 week, okay, the employer must pay retirement benefits on your behalf. Because there are some employers who have been trying to say, well, we'll change the employment terms from permanent to temporary and so on. All that is not going to be, that playing around is not going to be affordable, because the law is going to be comprehensive enough to avoid that from happening. For the others, like in the informal sector, I think what is going to be is if you are earning anything and you know that at one point you need to retire, or you'll have to retire. What we are trying to do is to say that you form, you look at yourself. Some of them, in other countries, for instance, in Kenya, they have what they call individual retirement plans. Even if you are not employed by anyone, you are self-employed, because you know that this is necessary.
From what you employ yourself.
Yes. You say, okay, I'll set aside a certain amount, okay, every month or every day or the other, in order to make savings. In Kenya, for instance, for the informal sector, they have what they call mbao. Mbao in Kenya language, I think in Swahili, bao means 20, right? I don't know whether you know Swahili. Bao means 20. It's a street language for 20. They have formed these bao schemes to cater for the informal sector, the artisans and so on, the boda guys like here, the matatus and so on. So every day, through their mobile phones, they contribute to these schemes they have set up themselves, which they run themselves, because they have elected what they call bodies of trustees, the trustees, to manage these schemes on their behalf. That's why I say that we are trying to put all this in your hands. they contribute 20 shillings every day. And these savings are accumulating by the day. So far they have 25 of such schemes, and the savings there are significant. So we can learn from those ones, okay? But the key requirement here is really to understand, to have the knowledge, to understand, to appreciate that I need to do this for myself.
Yeah.
This is not for the benefit of we, the regulators, it's not for the benefit of the government, it's for your own benefit.
I think the issue now is to teach Ugandans, Africans, to put money aside and save it.
And save, yes.
Because we have been learning all along to eat everything provided, and you even eat the seeds you're supposed to plant to get the next harvest. This is the Real Life Talk Show. Don't go away.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, our guest. My name is John Bosco Ntale. My issue, sir, is as a reformer. I have a problem with the retirement age. I've found out that most people and most fields have different retirement ages. And now, this has caused a problem that people do not know the standard age for retirement. This gives them a sleep. They tend to sleep and forget to do the saving culture. We've recently seen lecturers in universities. It comes a time is 80 and they are just pushed away from houses. They have no plan B. They didn't save enough. You find a lecturer who has been getting 5 million and goes on the street looking for where to sleep when he's 80. So have you maybe helped these people in the process, as you think that maybe you are saving for them in NSSF and so on and so forth? Have you given them extra knowledge to do outside kind of saving for themselves? Thank you very much.
My question is to our guest. You have told us that we have to register with you as a regulator, your organization. I would like to know how much...
As a scheme, right?
As a scheme, yeah. How much are we supposed to pay? Do we have benefits? And if you license a scheme, is that license satisfactory, or you need to go and register somewhere with a company or NGO or with another body, or your license itself is enough and is recognized by government? Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Mark. My question is, I want to know, how long did you take to pay those people's their pension? Because I can see some people moving, coming to your offices for a long time.
My concern goes to the regulator. Our problem as Ugandans is not to save, but where to save. When you save with NSSF, after 2 months, you hear that NSSF has made a loss. If you save with a scheme, you hear that the administrators have eaten money. So our problem is not to save, but where to save from. So that law that is coming, will it also cater for such concerns about those saving schemes and those organizations to see that at least they have some transparency and maybe they're organized? That's my biggest concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Mark. My name is Agnes. I request to know where the money of gratuity goes if a person who has been working for dies. Yes, thank you.
If there is any good organization in Uganda I hate so much, I think NSSF is one of them. It's one of the organizations that I hate so much.
You hate it?
Yeah, I hate NSSF and all the members. Because I'm one of the victims of NSSF. Because my mom was...
You retired and...
No. My mom was working for the government, a government organization. But we worked for almost 3 years. But we failed.
You tried to claim your benefit?
Yeah, we tried to claim for our benefit, but we failed.
What were you told?
We were told you come the next month, till my mom died. So we as kids,
So I was talking about you exactly.
we decided to quit. So do you,
So
I
the
don't-
next of kin did not continue to pursue.
No,
the
we
money.
did not, because we used to find very many people, old ages, telling you that for us, we've been claiming our money for almost 5 years, but we're here. So we decided just to leave those. And we're asking the government at least to improve, those guys to improve. Their services is poor. Is poor. Because each and every day you hear NSSF, there is a misuse of funds. What?
I would say mine is not a question, but just a caution to the Ugandans. We take long to realize our efforts. Looking at this, you look at people who are working in governments or different organizations, they always tend to enjoy the benefits they give them, houses, cars, and they forget that their age is what is going on. And they take long to realize. But the best way of investing is to invest in your children. It's the best way. If you invest in your children, you are going to eat like a king. Life for life. I'm telling you, the children, they're the NSSF we are having right now. You cannot trust anybody apart from your children.
Not even NSSF.
How? You cannot. Thank you.
I'm now actually happy because we have somebody fighting for our benefits or our savings.
He's fighting.
Yeah, at least they are protecting us at a,
Sure.
yeah, at a certain
We are yet to
extent.
see.
Yeah, at a certain extent, as he has convinced us. And I'm like, yeah, because time back I preferred my pig bank than saving to NSSF. So thank you for that protection.
You're welcome.
I applaud the guest we're having right now. I need some enlightenment on the regulatory body and the banks. What's the difference and the similarity of saving on both sides?
Saving in the bank.
Yeah.
Where you can just go and get your savings.
Exactly.
At any age.
Yes.
And here where they will wait until you die.
Exactly.
My name is Semagana Godfrey. NSSF is a forced saving. You are getting small money and you find your salary, which should be 200, you find it is 170. So how transparent are you now? Because people really have not had programs. You must be transparent in order to convince people, like especially the younger people, to engage in saving. And you have not sensitized people about the importance of saving. Maybe for us, we could cry. We could see it is cut off. It's a lot of money.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mark, and our guest in the house, Robin Aronita. I will not so much judge NSSF because I believe many people have benefited out of it and some have made losses out of it. But what I can say, you said an individual can save with NSSF. What are the requirements? What are the procedures? At least what amount is the least for somebody to start saving with NSSF? And again, another question is that if somebody dies, before getting his pension, can he probably get back that money? Thank you so much.
Know early enough that they have to do that. What we are trying to do in Urbra is to educate, and it's by law that we have to create understanding and also to educate people about the sector. So I think our experience, especially going out on Monday, I was in Mbarara, trying to talk about these issues. We're going to be talking about these issues across the country. Right now, we have few staff, but we are recruiting. Once we have a full board, and we also create regional offices, we are going to be educating and sensitizing people about these things, okay? Yeah. So that they know that they have to save for their retirement. And then, what's that? Made it to... How many days does it take? Let me clarify that, as I said before, the organization I represent is a regulator. It's not a retirement benefit scheme, it's not a pension scheme, it's not a provident fund. It regulates all those entities. So I guess this question is to the NSSF, which we regulate. Okay, I think they have reduced the number of days it takes them to pay. They say to about 30 days. That's what they say. But you have to give us feedback. If you have issues, you can come to Urbra and complain. We have a complaint desk if things are not going well, or even a whistleblowing. If you think that there's something that is wrong there, as a regulator, it's our duty to respond, to make sure that they are doing the right things. Okay, if we have you know, someone who said that he didn't get the money for his mom, if that's still the case, just come to Urbra. I have a staff who are going to handle that case, because we set up a complaints desk, and we've had many complaints so far, and we are resolving those complaints. Okay, that's why you are a regulator. Okay, problem of where to save. You're right. In my presentation, is what I've been saying is that the crisis we are in is not because people don't have money to save. People actually want to save, and they have money to save. Because saving, you don't have to wait to have big money. You can even start saving 5 cents. 5 cents, 5 cents. As long as that money is invested properly, it can actually grow. So what we are trying to do is to create institutions which can be trusted. Institutions that can be accountable. Institutions which can be penalized if they do things in the wrong way, which is not against the law. And that's what we are trying to do, okay, as a regulator. Yep. And who gets gratuity in case you die? Your next of kin, or the person you've designated, like in a will, actually gets your gratuity.
What if I don't have a will? I've died before I get a will, and so on. Yes.
That one means that you have to get, your next of kin will get your benefits in according to the succession law. There's a succession law, a succession law, they call it succession law, okay? Or the administrator can actually intervene, but all these benefits will belong to your family. They will not be taken, as long as the family is able to claim them. What is important is to keep records. And records is one of the key governance issues that we are addressing.
So the people that have not kept records and that money is there.
Yeah, there's going to be a system. Yeah, there's going to be a system of identification. You can actually go and start identifying these people through a mechanism. Kenya does it so that these people can be identified and so that they can get their benefits. Okay, but of course, without a regulator, without someone supervising these institutions, that will not happen.
I think let's handle one more. We need to close.
You said you hate the NSSF. You worked for many. This is no longer going to be the case because there is a regulator. And as I said, if you still have this problem, just come to me. I'll give you my contact, and then we'll sort you out. Okay? How to gain trust and so on. Others have not been able to answer all of them.
I think the issue is right now what you talked about, the trust issue.
Yes.
Because some of them, like he says, it is forced saving.
Yes.
You know, NSF, it's by law. If you are within the private sector, it's by law. Yeah. You must. And if you don't, they'll get you.
Yeah, that's by law. Yeah.
But we also need to educate people and sensitize them on the benefits
of saving.
Yes. And we have not seen that a lot. It's not embedded in our education system. It's, even our parents don't show that. The income they have, they're living from hand to mouth, and you can't even save. And so, now you're telling them to save, and, forcefully you're even taking the little they have and saving it, and then they are going to work until they die to get it. And so now you have to bring more trust back to us. Because right now, I've looked into my life. Maybe, I don't want to keep walking until I die. 3 more years, I want to claim, and I want it all. I don't want this thing and they give me little. Let me eat it and die. So that I know I have not left it in NSSF. Okay. Well, thank you so much for educating us. Right, and we hope we shall save. Thank you so much, studio audience. Thank you so much for viewing. See you next time on the Real Life Talk Show. Bye-bye.